Veterans helping veterans, talking about things happening in the veteran community, things we've experienced and overcome, such as addictions, PTSD, depression, legal trouble. And we also promote veteran-owned businesses. If you're talking about it, we're talking about it. This is Charlie Mike, the podcast.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Charlie Mike, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Raul, and your co-host, William.
What's going on? Yeah, you're getting pretty good at remembering your name.
Man,
I like
yeah,
it.
it's when we go live is when I forget it. Hey, you know what I was doing right now? I have the ear infection.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this side of the ear isn't working.
That's funny.
What's going on, man?
Hey, man, life is good and I'm blessed. Here out here working and connecting. This week it's been a full week. We're not even done yet.
Right?
It's gonna get better.
Yeah. Man, I see you out there hustling. I'm glad you're out there, man. I'm glad you're doing it. Yeah.
I am. And while I'm out there hustling, I actually ran into a good friend of mine, Mr. Earl Lundy, and we had a good conversation, man. And we about 20, 30 minutes deep, and I was like, you really should come into the studio and let's do a podcast.
For sure.
And so if you're listening, you'll notice another voice, and we've got Mr. Earl Lundy here, the third, correct?
That's correct.
I love that. Third generation military from the 82nd.
That's correct.
How would you describe your title at Combined Arms?
I'm the community outreach manager for Combined Arms, but I'm also the gym manager for Combined Arms as well. So wear two hats out.
So if you go in and you're looking for a good pump, man, this man will give it to you. And I've seen Earl in the community before I actually got to know Earl. His face is pretty distinguishable, good looking dude, and very active and passionate about what he does. And I was actually got the chance to hear you speak at the Impact of Heroes Gala. That was awesome, man. It was phenomenal to hear more of your story, where your passions come from. And it was at that moment, I'm like, I really got to get him on. I always wanted you to come on, but now it's like even driving for. So, Earl, why don't you tell us something that I know you're kind of a public figure, but what is something that not everybody knows about you?
Oh, man, that I'm the youngest of 6. So, yeah,
Wow.
I'm the youngest. I'm the baby of the family. Yeah, like I said, I'm third generation, 82nd Airborne Division, and man, I got 4 sisters. I was raised by my 4 sisters and my mom, and so I'm the baby boy, and mama's boy, deeply rooted for sure. Yes, mama's boy for sure. Yes.
So where are you from originally?
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah, so
what brought you to Houston?
We just wanted a different change of scenery.
Oh, the whole fam came.
Oh yeah, me, my wife, and my 2 kids. Once I got out the military, like we wanted just a new scene, do something different.
Yeah. Did you come in here with anything in mind?
Nothing.
You just said, "Let me just."
I packed my bags up. Hey, we came down here and visit once, and we was like, okay, we could do something. Let's try this out, and if not, then we'll go back to the East Coast.
Yeah.
But we came and never looked back.
Man.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about the community, especially here in Houston, is that it's like the second largest population for veterans in the nation without a major base. Yes, we have Ellington. A lot of respect for those folks that are there, but it's not a big presence like Fort Hood or Fort Sam or Bragg. And for them to be such a high population of veterans here in Houston, it's like, man, are we really number 2? Like, yeah, we're number 2 for
Who's
vets.
number 1?
I couldn't tell you. Probably like LA or New York.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah. Are you comfortable with the mic and everything?
Yeah,
you can pull it up any way you want, man. Just
Always moving. Don't touch it though.
You don't touch it.
I'll break it.
Man, so what? So you were a third generation military.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the first 2 generations.
Oh man, both cool. All day.
Man, I haven't heard that word in a minute, bro.
All day, got that whole mentality and just like a force to be reckoned with. Very high achievers, So when I looked at them as a great example of what we need to do and always giving back to service, they always not only served in the military, but my grandfather, he started like the first Black, Boy Scouts in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Yeah, and out of the 20 boys, I believe 18 was Eagle Scouts. You know,
Wow.
so he was a
Yeah.
really, I mean, so just having that example to look at, and seeing my father do very similar things. He mentored a lot of youth as well. Man, that was always a tug and pull for me. Like, man, I'm a server. I just don't know when,
Yeah.
but that's something that always looked up to and be like, okay, then that's something I'm gonna do one day.
Well, how many years did you end up doing?
I ended up doing 5
Yeah.
before I end up get medical retiring now.
Okay. Okay. Did you think about any other branch?
No, Army through and through. Like my grandfather made it clear, like if you join, when you join,
Yeah.
you know where you're going. Like you already know.
Wow.
But it was just crazy how it worked because I was supposed to be coming to Fort Irwin, going to Fort Irwin when I enlisted, and then I was like, well, my grandfather, I got airborne, I got air assault, I got all these different badges. You don't need to follow in those footsteps. And I was like, well, yeah. So as soon as I went to airborne school, then they changed my orders to Fort Bragg, and he was ecstatic.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
yeah. And then 82nd at that, so it was like, man, this was destined. This is meant to be.
Yeah. The man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And so both your father and grandfather served in the 82nd too. I mean, how long were their careers?
Both 20 years.
20 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh shit.
My grandfather was 20 plus because he came back, he did National Guard and he did State Guard.
Yeah.
So he
Always
did
serving.
he was always in it.
So did you and your father's time in service lap at any point?
No.
Yeah.
As soon as, because he retired out when I was young, maybe 15.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah,
the
yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still remember to this day when he retired, and it was crazy. So I'm like, I still remember that at Fort Jackson. And then that's where I did my basic training at.
Oh wow.
So everything came full circle. Like
Wow.
this is meant to be for sure. Yes.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we had a few guests on before they were father son and they served at the same time. Actually, his sister served too and brother, so they had like a picture where they were all in uniform
Yeah.
together. I was like, man, that's
Mhm.
cool, bro.
Yes.
My dad's a Marine and he served in the 80s, so there was no overlap there.
Gotcha.
But there's something about being a military child that I don't know, like I don't know if I don't want to say it's like more prevalent. Well, it is. The statistics are higher
Right.
that your children will serve if you serve too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be shocked if my son served. I'll be so proud. I'm like, man,
Wow.
go ahead and join. But he's looking at school right now, but I'm not giving him hope yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I think me and my brother served at the same time. I was military and he was with the Department of Justice. Corrections.
Man, I hope he's listening.
He go fight me.
Both brothers? Which brother?
Both of them. Actually.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry. I had to say that.
No, that's good.
That was it. That was
Yeah,
it.
he had just seen his younger brother
Yeah,
too since
yeah.
for in the last 13 years, was it?
Oh
18 years?
man, almost 20. Yeah.
Wow.
Man. So it was like
He's-
it's funny.
He said, "Why don't you come see me?" I said, "Bro, you live in California. That's why."
So
Oh,
growing
man.
up, you spent most of your time on the East Coast?
Yeah, all on the East Coast. My family is originally from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So every summer I would go to Philadelphia and spend time with them, or South Carolina or Georgia. So yeah, we were all on the East Coast.
Yeah.
East Coast.
You go back a lot often?
I try
No?
to go back at least once or twice a year.
Cool.
Well, I go see my grandmother in Philadelphia maybe 3 times a year if I can. Yeah, but she's been there for her 90th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So that was
Yeah, yeah,
amazing
yeah.
That is
to
phenomenal.
celebrate her. And but yeah, I try to go back as much as I can. And just keep that because we were big on family. And just
Absolutely.
keeping that family bond together and stuff like that. We were very close knit family. So every time I go back, I try to take advantage of it.
Man, that's what it is. He speaks real highly of family.
Yeah, I do.
And it's
'Cause
important.
for me, I think it does come. We get a lot of that from the military, right? I mean, I'm sure we develop our own family when we're in,
Sure.
and then it's staying connected and building another family, like your family here. I see how attractive you are, right? Like as far as folks being drawn to you, especially the veteran community.
Mm.
They see Earl out here striving, and especially when you share your story, it's like, man, if he can do it, I can do it too.
Mhm.
Because you do hold more weight in the community because of where you're at, and
Right.
look, fit, speaking, active, and then just preaching the good things that go on.
Right.
So it's like I have someone to chase. And that's why I tell other folks like Tim Stroud and stuff. I'm like, you're setting a standard for me that you
Mhm.
don't realize it, but I'm
Right.
chasing that.
Yeah.
I'm coming down, I'm coming after that,
Right.
because you're shining an example for me,
Exactly.
right? Like I can go
Mhm.
do that too,
Exactly. And it's funny because it wasn't always like that
right?
at all. Like I was the total opposite. I'm an introvert, true and true. And then especially coming out here to Houston, not knowing anybody and still, fresh out the military, I had my story, I had a full body injury and dealing with depression real bad. So, like you said, podcasts like this are, an organization, the veteran organizations, they help to breathe life back into me as going through that. So man, all that, all the honor and respect all out to the organizations that helped me get where I am today and when I'm where I continue to strive to be for sure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
How did you what led you to combine arms, or how did you end up in at that?
Yes, it all started just by volunteering.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. So I went there one day, and one of the board members that was starting Combined Dorms right before it started, I just came back from Wounded Warrior track program, and I let them know, okay, I want to do be a personal trainer and own my own gym one day. And so they had a storage unit that was available, which is just some empty space, and they were like, you could start off using this space if you want. And so I'm like, okay, let's just start off by doing some classes here, and I could train some people out of there or get some veterans that are coming back who dealing with some type of injuries. I already had my certifications and
Oh,
everything, went to
cool.
school for training. And so I was like, well, this would be a good way for me to, practice that and but also find a way to give back to the veteran community. And because we all know it's very tough going in, when I first came back, I went to the gym. It was terrible. Like everybody looking at my scars and I'm confused. I don't know what to do. And I'm always feel like somebody's looking at me and everything. And so I just didn't feel comfortable at all. So we want to create a space where y'all could come in here and work out. We could even talk about our problems because sometimes we come in there, we don't even train, we just talk, and that's that mental training is just as important. And just seeing like-minded people that's in there and comfortable and having that camaraderie back in the gym and everything, and just lifting weight and getting stronger together mentally and physically and spiritually, man, was important. So they was able to bless me with that space and just volunteering and just we started off with boxing and it just continued to grow from there, from boxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, CrossFit. We even had Camp Gladiator with Mark. He's a Marine, phenomenal guy as well. He comes in here and train and the veterans and stuff as well. So it was great to be able to do that. And then I came from there. I said I wanted to do a little more, bring more awareness to the gym and health and wellness. So I gotta push the envelope. So we end up a partner with Travis Main Foundation and Combined Dorms to go run kayaking, ride my bike, and along the way do some leadership training with some of the local elementary schools, talking about character with Travis Main Foundation. And so that was over 200 miles of just running, biking, kayaking. That was just to simulate, yeah, it was just to simulate and we are in this together. We all have our own journey and be switching to different type of workout from biking, rucking, and it's just simulating like the different things that we go through, the different phases that we go through in life.
Oh, that's cool.
And it is difficult, but I didn't do it by myself. I had my son with me. I had one of my cousins. I had another Gazo, one of my
Yeah.
one of my favorite, one of my guys, one of my best friends, man. He did it with me and it was just us four, and we just traveled from there. And I had my family, my wife and my daughter there too. So just them, family being there because family support is so important. But having, like you said, creating that secondary family and that community that's gonna help push you together. And it's just went to simulate like you're not in this alone and everything. And like to go back to what you were saying, you're saying like you know, you, if we got to strive and do that together. So that's why we call it Lundy Strides and everything to continue to whatever path you're going on, continue to know how to strive together and
Right.
everything is to show that you're not
So,
in this
and so
alone.
you mentioned Lundy Strides, and so this is something that you've started.
Yeah, we started that me and Combined Dorms. We started that, and we were doing that for a year. We took a year off because of COVID, and then we just did it again when we
Yeah, I
came from
remember.
Austin. We did Austin to Houston last year and everything, and we was raising funding and awareness for the gym. Yes.
So, Earl, 10 years from right now, do you own your own gym?
No.
You think the path's changed for you?
Yeah, it really has. Because one thing I always want to do is do my own organization and mentor youth. That's what my heart
Yeah.
is. I'm passionate about that. That's what helped me when I got out. When I was just training and mentoring, and those kids real talk saved my life because I wasn't going to counseling, I wasn't going to therapy, but when I stepped out on that football field and gave back to the boys and seeing how, passionate they are about getting better and stuff like that, I see myself in them like, oh man, if they could do this, I could do this. If they could do one more push up, then I could, push myself to do one more push up. If they could get up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to come out here and train, it helped me give me a purpose to do that and continue to serve in that capacity. And so I want to start my nonprofit, which we're working on now, where we're helping kids, we're doing that through training, but we're also teaching about character and personal development as well. But we also, for the kids that are going into the military, want to create a platform for them to go like a camping style event. So they'll go there, like it's gonna be like almost like boot camp, but we're teaching them what the military is like, what the history of the military, and doing all that if they want to continue to pursue that career path. And then if besides from that, if they want to continue their education, then we'll get them connected to some of the other local things so they can learn a trade and everything as well. And also teach them about financial literacy.
Man, that's what it's about. It's about helping the youth and
Yes.
and giving back, serving. We're serving after service.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that a lot. So if you guys didn't hear, it's comes back. Earl gets out, comes a little lost, but gets involved with the community,
Mhm.
and you really start to find yourself when you start serving
Right.
again. And I know you and I are probably very similar stories too,
Yeah.
right? Like you find what you like to do, what you
Right.
love to do when you start serving others.
Right.
You start feeling the need, you start finding your own needs met.
Mhm.
I love that, man. I really do. I admire that a lot.
You find something you love, it's not work,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Love it.
it's not. It's like I was saying before, man. We hate leaving at night,
All right.
and then we try to race each other to see who's the first one here in the morning.
Exactly.
I always win, but
I don't know about always. There's been 3 times.
Yeah.
three out of the whole month.
Oh
Man, that's good.
man.
So tell me about working with the youth. I know, okay, there's a lot of parallels there. I know when I see when you can Google Earl, he'll show up on a lot of different nonprofit sites. I almost guaranteed. And so, would you tell me a little bit more about the TMF, the Travis Mann?
Yeah, Travis Main Foundation. It's a great organization. If you were looking to mentor and get back in the youth life, and you're looking to give back, like they teach character to youth, and they go into no matter whether middle school, high school, elementary school, colleges, and they teach kids about character, to the future generations. And so they do that through service projects. They do that with showing them how to lead with character as well, and showing with the character strengths. And so they have like 24 different characters, and they'll take an assessment to see exactly what are your top 5, and we'll talk about how you can strengthen those. But also they'll look at their bottom 5 as well and see, okay, then how can we strengthen those, and talk about how your strengths could be actually be your weaknesses as well. And so it's just not just leading with that, because that could be that could definitely be might not be the best serve you all the time. So it's showing you how to continue to lead with other ways and everything as well, and learn from other people. So now I just go around speaking and talking about youth, and how they could build their character. And I go around telling my story and how I was able to overcome that, and stuff like that.
So
I'll go over that.
what's a couple of your top ones, and what's some of your bottom ones?
So my top one is, and they always change it for some reason,
Right.
but my top 3, my top 3 is humor, spirituality, and kindness. And,
Okay.
and so I lead with that, like
Yeah.
100%. That's what got me here. It's just, laughing my way through pain. I have a strong foundation with God, and also just kindness, man. I think that's contagious.
Mm.
So I definitely try to lead with that. And like when somebody leaves away, they're leaving away with a smile, and also think about what they could do to do better as well.
So
Wow.
what about the reverse side? What about the other 3?
Man, to be honest, I try not to pay attention to my
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know we brought it up with the
yes.
TMF.
So it's zest, what's the other one? Beauty. I think it was like beauty, like paying attention to beauty to life, like slowing down to really,
Ooh.
yeah,
Enjoy the
slowing down.
moment.
Exactly. Appreciation of beauty. That's what it
Oh,
was.
okay.
And oh,
I could see that, because I mean I struggle with that too. Like
mhm.
I talk about staying in the moment and how important that is, but to be able to like realize the nuances, like man, look at how great we are here. You know, look at what we're blessed with. Like kind of like really focusing, diving down into
Right.
gratitude or going outside. This moment where I can get that, like I've walked out of here and the sun's out, and I'm like, man, that's feels great.
Yeah, and I had to be pulled away from this to be able to do that. Like every year, like with the team, if I go to Colorado, and man, it's beautiful out there, and it's just walking. I'm just walking, and that's why I need to do those extreme measure like type of training because it'll get me out my element, and I can just really focus on what's going on and be thankful for where I came from. You know, a lot of times we forget to look back to where we came from, and we just so in the moment trying to get here, trying to get there, but just really sitting down, slowing down, just to appreciate where God has brought us from and everything as well. I'm like, I need to do that more. My wife always say, slow down, just a little bit to breathe. I'm like, you right. And so having those moments like that and just seeing, just different going outdoors and really like walking mountains and doing those different things or just riding my bike, I mean, it's beautiful out there, man. And so I definitely need to do that more for sure.
Right, man.
I think we all do. We all need to do a little bit of that more. Just stop
Yeah.
and stop and smell and look around. You know what I
Right.
Yeah.
mean?
So take this podcast outside. go on a walk, okay? You can pause now and walk outside,
Yeah.
put the headphones back in, and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Listen while we drop some
Right.
knowledge.
There you go.
That's what's up.
I love that. I think we find a lot and we discover a lot about ourselves when we start serving others.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how you talked about being able to teach a skill, but also be motivating with them.
Right.
So it's like it's being able to show them what's possible.
Right.
What's possible. I like to mention this a lot too. What are some of the traits that you think you got from the military that have really helped you now, or when it comes to mentoring? Because I think I know that we're all leaders, but I think there's an opportunity for vets to mentor more because of the skills we do have. What
Right.
kind of skills do you think set us up for that?
When that comes to, I think of skills, I think of my values and loyalty, honor, duty, respect, selfless service, personal courage, and integrity. Hey, that's that's embedded.
Yeah.
And so whenever for example, I always ask the boys, who are you? Not who you want to become, but who you are today. I think that's the presidents of the foundation of who they are moving forward. Because what you do today will affect you tomorrow. So I always try to think about, I ask my son almost every morning, who are you? And he'll tell me hardworking, intelligent, discipline, and all those different things. So so when you go walking out, you taking that with you, and that's the foundation that we try to live on. And so when it comes to my traits, whenever I come encounter with the youth and everything, y'all not just hearing me say this. These are my actions, and so when on trials and those tests comes, I'm gonna fall back on that. So loyalty, honor, duty, respect, selfless service, and integrity, all those different things, I'm gonna show you through my actions when it comes to that. So when you encounter me, you have an example of what that looks like, and not just somebody talking about it, And I think that's what a lot of times when I run into this, like they tell me to do this, but they're not showing me how. So guess what? I'm gonna try to outrun you. I'm gonna do these drills with you and show you that this is what it looks like. But not only through that, I'm gonna show you through my character and the way that I carry myself that this is who I truly am, and not just giving you a facade of something to look up to. But no, this is truly me. And so with every aspect of my life, you come in contact with my son, he's gonna tell you about me. He's gonna show you that that's true. Come in contact with my wife, she's gonna tell you that that's what it is for my daughter. That's who I really am. Even with hopefully when you talk to somebody about me,
Mhm.
that they give you a good encounter from who I am, because I always try to not leave a good impression, not necessarily for them, but for myself, because that's who I'm striving to be, and that's who I am. And so who I say I am, hopefully you'll get that encounter from me, So and that's where I try to stand on.
That's deep.
Yeah.
You
And-
follow that up.
No, and that's all we got.
That's it. I think it's phenomenal. Like you said, I feel oftentimes we try to leave who we are from the military behind, right? But it's for me, it's trying to help vets specifically recognize that, man, you're set up to be a success
Yes.
because of what you've done, whatever time you
Mhm.
served, whether it be a few years or many.
Right.
It just means it's even more ingrained to you. It's like you're a leader, whatever you think you are, you're not. People see you served, and
Right.
they're comprehending now. Oh, shows up on time, but what does that mean? That means I can rely on them.
Mm-hmm.
That they're going to set that example for
Right.
for us. I try to let um, big businesses know, like, get a veteran group together because they are so
Mm-hmm.
diverse. We talked about this many times, but you can give them and they'll be the model for the rest of your company. Like, hey,
Right.
why can't y'all work more like the
Yeah.
veterans?
Mhm.
Like, it's like
Right.
we are that.
It's a mindset for sure. It really is, and I think that's when you come across a veteran, that's what they leave it. It's a standard that they try to carry through and through across the board. Not just who they used to be, but who they. Like once again, it's embedded in me. It's embedded in me to serve and to give back. So when you come in contact with me or another veteran and everything, it's shown. That work ethic and that mindset. So just that having that encounter with veterans is like I need to help encourage them because like you said, I didn't see that in me. I didn't see me as a leader. People see me, and they was like, like with the mission continue, you should do this. I'm like, I don't know if that's enough. For real, you should do this. And it's great because it helped get me out my comfort zone. Travis Main Foundation, hey, you should do you should do public speaking. No, that's not me,
Yeah.
and so until they gave me the platform to be able to do that, I'm like, wow, like, that is me,
Mhm.
and like combined Dorrance putting me in a leadership position where I'm going out and talking to people, about veterans issues, about I could tell them my experience and we can relate. So I'm like, yo, I've been there. And they put me in that position to be able to go out there and impact the community and give me the freedom to like be creative, to go out there and really show them how we could get connected to veteran resources that they may not be aware of. Like, I'm thankful for all of that, because when I first got out, I didn't see myself doing this. You know, I didn't see myself what I was gonna do like a year from now. Like, man, I was depression would had me in a chokehold, and like what I'm gonna do now, man. I felt depleted. I felt, of course depressed, but I felt hurt, all these different things, man. I'm like a failure because I couldn't do 20 years.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna.
couldn't live up to that Lundy name,
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
I think that's big because we hear that too from a lot of vets, where it's like, well, I didn't deploy.
right.
When I didn't serve that long.
Hmm.
And it's like, I
Yeah.
can you dig into that a little more? How to, what does it feel like to not live up to this like legacy or standard that you set yourself up to?
Yes.
Not that your
Hmm.
services should be discounted.
Right.
I mean, I know you're a strong man and who
Hmm.
you are.
Right.
But I mean, like, could you dive into that a little bit? Like, how does that?
Yeah. Like I say, it was depleting. When I got out, I'm like, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? Like, do my father or my grandfather look down on
Mhm,
me? I got hurt. They ain't never get hurt. And instead
mhm,
of looking at that, like, whenever somebody tell me to bring up my story, because one of the guys came out when I first met. He was with the Warrior Project. And John Boysler, he came and told me like, "Yo, just go talk about your story." I'm like, I'm ashamed of that, because I can't fulfill my job anymore. But then I started getting comfortable, and veterans want to know more. What happened? And then I just started, telling them, and they were and wow, like wow, for just a brief second, just I was hit in Afghanistan by a vehicle ID, and the house collapsed down on me. I was there for 4 to 5 hours up under that rubble and everything, and people was like, wow, like how you survived that, and it was just like, man, my faith, you know, that what got me through that. But then I had to realize, yo, God was sending me a message that a lot of people go through this. Every person goes through a dark period in their life, and that was mine. And so I went through physically what a lot of people go through
mhm,
mentally. And so I just changed the perspective of what I've been through. I'm grateful and I'm blessed. When they first pulled me out, it was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm blessed. I made it through that. A lot of people can't say that they did. So that's something I can hang my hat on instead of being ashamed of it. So I had to change the way I viewed and the way I looked at that situation. And then when I come to encounter youth or other veterans, I'm like, yo, I've been there. I know what it feels like to be in the dark. I know what it feels like it's just you by yourself. But before anybody else could help you, you have to first help yourself. And that's what I did. Like before I could call out for help, before I could do anything, I had to reevaluate my situation to realize, okay, then, That's what the military taught me. Evaluate the situation and then go from there. Instead of panicking. If I panic, it's all downhill from there. So once I was able to overcome that, okay, then reevaluate my situation and push through that. I'm like, okay, then now let me tell you about your situation. I'm not a therapist by far. Just tell me where I came from. I see that you're dealing with something dark and it's heavy, and all that weight was on you and everything. You feel like you by yourself. You feel like there's no hope and everything, and all the situation, all the negative thoughts that come to your head, but you're still here. And that means if you're still here, that means you could change the outcome of this situation. Yes, it's going to involve you speaking positive reinforcements within yourself, praying more, and also the people that you put around you.
Mm.
You know, I couldn't do it before I could even ask for help. Of course, I made that situation. I made the choice to, breathe. Say, okay, I could do this, and then somebody helped me. Then my team pulled me out. And so that's where we are a lot of time. Who are you putting around you? What are you telling yourself? And how are you carrying yourself? Are you speaking negative all the time? It's gonna follow you. You put yourself in those environments, and so I like to go back to that and just change your perspective of where I've at, where I've been through, and just be like, dang, that shows strength, not weakness, that I was able to go through that. And that's a lot of time we build strength from our struggle instead of letting it be our downfall.
Mm.
And so knowing how to shape that and knowing where to place it, and so we can overcome it in a way that we can inspire somebody else through the negative things that we think that we've been through. Sometimes those same things was to build you to make you stronger. How do you make a sword, right? You gotta put that thing in fire. You gotta hit it, boom, shape it the way that it needs to be shaped. And then once again, you put it in there again, hit it. That's what it takes. Iron sharpen iron. And that's all about who you put yourself around to. So don't let your darkness be a downfall, but allow it to be something that you could have to stand on and everything, because I was able to get through that. And now you can express that same thing that you've been through to somebody else and help pull them out their situation. Because like you said, I'm looking at you and see how you carry yourself or how you pull yourself out of that. And if you could do it, I could do it too. And sometimes we just need to be an example. And the best way you could do that is just by being your best self.
Man, I'm about to turn this table over. We're just gonna run outside, man. Hey, with that, I'd like to announce that I'm running for the Houston. Man, pump me up, man. Jesus.
That's what the side effects. That's what I love about the podcast and having this platform. We've had some very interesting guests come on and really share their stories. And that's what we want to do more of is share that story, because I say it, man. I say it all the time, because on the back end, we also have a podcast studio. And that's what we tell folks. Like, you're just sharing your story because it is important to be told.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad I got to sit here and listen to your story, man. Wow.
Do you ever come across people that be like, man, hearing your story helped me, hearing your story? Because I know it's happened to us and it's a surreal moment. It's like, what? Or because of you, I did this.
Right.
And have you experienced that?
Yes, man. I just turned 38. And my wife, she threw me a birthday party, and it's just all family and friends, and even some guys that I trained, and they was just giving my flowers pretty much like while I was here, and I never knew I had the impact. 'Cause I'm like, everybody here helped me, but I never knew the impact that I had in your life just by being present. And then a lot of times with people from Travis Main Foundation, they tell a story, and it's a part in there where I say I had to know who I was, so I had to say my name. I had to say it proudly and everything, and it was like, yo, that just touched their heart because they need to realize that as well. So I come encounter with this, and I'm like, man, I'm grateful and I'm humbled by that, because like I never thought my story had to be that much impactful to a lot of people, and everything. Until once again I changed my perspective when it comes to that. But I'm humbled and like I'm grateful because it's not me. It's just like I said, I'm very spiritual, so it's the God in me. I'm just trying to put a shadow, and I'm just showing you what if for me, if you have that foundation, what can happen and what can come from there and everything. So I give all praise to God when it comes to that, because I couldn't have did this without Him.
Right.
So, for sure.
But it definitely takes some self-discovery. some
Does.
realization. Because I mean, hearing you say that, Raul and he helped me launch another podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
like he's putting my name on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm turning to you. I got to give him some flowers too. It's just like being able to own that. Like, no, it's the business coffee hour with William Gray Jr. And it's my name's on that,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like you said, there's a lot of power in saying your name and
Mm-hmm.
realizing who you are. And we come about it different ways.
Right.
You were given that opportunity early,
Mm-hmm.
right? Early, and then through that self reflection, you see that you see
Yeah.
like the obviously the struggle you go through, but afterwards it's like, man, that was an amazing blessing that I learned that lesson
Right.
so soon,
Mm-hmm.
and here we are sharing those
Right.
lessons.
It's
Amazing.
one of the things I preach to him, man. It's like that, man. Everything you speak about or you say, you undersell yourself, bro. You're not giving
Mm-hmm.
yourself enough credit about
Right.
what you do. And he's just like, I'm like, no, bro.
That's true for
It's an
real.
impact. Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, I love what you said in your story and everything. And the way that, your words could affect someone else is just amazing in itself. Gee, man.
No, I think it's for all of us. I think it's important for especially for those listening to know that we're all three very different, right?
Mhm.
There's some times where I feel like I'm not enough because I didn't get that Purple Heart, or
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not enough because I didn't do as much as the tier one guys,
Right.
right? And it's
Mhm.
like that doesn't matter, we still are a part of this class of veterans that willingly volunteer to
Right.
do what we do. And then we all turn to the Vietnam veterans because that was just happening. You're like, man, I don't know how you did what you
Right,
did.
Yeah.
man.
And
Every
they're like,
time.
I did what I had to do.
Mhm.
Every time. And we've had the opportunity to speak to a few, man. And some of those guys was like, man, when the Iraq and Afghanistan conflict happened, he goes, we made it our mission to make sure that you guys felt thanks for y'all service,
Right. Right.
because we remember what it was like coming back and
Exactly.
not, that's like, dang,
Mhm.
just saying that gave me chills again,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like that was like some humbling, like I was like, wow.
For real.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I do want to point out too, I like to pick a random time to make sure that that if you're in crisis or you're having trouble, that you can call or you can text 988. And then if you're a military veteran, you press 1. So I just want to put it out there just because
Mhm.
I understand, like, you start reminiscing and you start thinking about where you were in some of those stories. If you're not fully ready to talk about them yet,
Mhm.
seek help, get some
Right.
counseling.
There's definitely a lot of help out there for you. And if you're struggling with something right now, let this be, your guiding light. Let this, if you're struggling with depression, you're struggling with PTSD, you're struggling with drugs or alcohol, man, know that a lot of us have been in the same situation. I myself, I went through the justice system,
Mhm.
and things can change, but you have to want to change it.
Right.
You have to get up. Things aren't going to come to you. You have to make that push. You have to want to change your life. And that's what I got a lot, from what you were saying right now.
Mhm.
You can't just be like, oh man, I want to change. No, change.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it alone either.
No, you
No,
I
don't.
you
think that's a
don't.
great segue for what it is that you do at Combined Arms. And I'll always be an advocate because I think there's so many avenues that we can't hit them all.
Right.
Right. I mean, not everybody listens to the podcast,
Mhm.
But the folks that do, I want to make sure that they know and
But they
that we
should.
can share. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so share this with your friends.
Yeah.
Share it with
Tell
your friends.
everybody.
just bring along one person, we can double that number. And so for me, I think that's a great place to start, is to say, hey, if you're looking to get connected, where should they go, Earl?
Combinedarms.us, or we can come to 2929 McKinney Street, which is downtown right near the Dynamo Stadium. But we make it very easy for people to get connected. If you don't know about Combined Arms, we are a nonprofit organization that has over 200 different nonprofit organizations and over 1,000 unique resources for veterans and their families in active duty and reservists. And so if you need any type of help with volunteering or social events, if you need help with legal assistance, like I said, we have a free gym downtown, or just get involved in your community, or if you need help with your VA rating, I mean, the list goes on and on. If you need any type of services, for me, I didn't have a lot. I actually knew one organization when I first came here, and that was Wounded Warrior Project. But now we're the one-stop shop for veterans to get connected to resources that's out in the community. So and we're the first interconnected state as well right here in Texas. Nice. With the Texas Veteran Network. So no matter where you go in Texas, you can get connected to resources that's out in your community. So Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, El Paso, the rural areas, all southeast, all our southeast area, please, and also now, also San Antonio. So come and get connected, man. And like I said, once again, you don't have to do this by yourself. I like to always say, we stand divided, we fall. Right. So come there, get connected to the different resources that we have available. And it's all free. Yeah. That's a good thing. It's all free.
Me at free.
Exactly. It's easy steps to go online, create a profile, and then we have a great time span for somebody to come back and reach out to you, receive an email within 48 hours. And from there, we got up to 72 hours for an organization to reach back out to them and make sure they get connected, to make sure that that's effective and fast, and to get them connected to the resources that they need right away.
Man, I talk about you guys because y'all had a fair or something. This was many years ago, and you guys are actually the ones that got me connected with Wounded Warrior Project.
Great.
And it's all history.
He loves Wounded Warrior
Project.
Man,
I talk about it, man.
They legit.
That's those good people out there, bro.
And
they are.
And I want to mention that you may not like all these organizations that we're mentioning, because I know some veterans feel a certain type of way.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. He just said there's over 200.
We got options.
that doesn't mean stop. That doesn't mean stop. Well, I didn't care for that one. It's like, okay, well, that's fine. I know somebody else who does exactly what they do, just in a different capacity.
Yeah.
Like, let's get you connected with them. Or you don't want to. You want to go here, use the county. The county has resources. And they serve you. That's what they're there for.
Right.
Or use this one. Or it's like there's so many out there, and that's the point that I always push when we talk about combined arms. It's a connection point.
Right.
For me, it's just easier because it's a one profile, and then you can get access. But at the end of the day, you got to make sure that you get connected.
Exactly.
You follow up. It's not, you're not the end all be all. Like, well, I submitted an application, and okay, well, what did you do after that?
Did you finish the application?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's it as well. Like, if you have your, whatever it's about, anything, come on out to a different event. Come on out to a volunteer event. There's ways to get connected to the veteran community. I did it I also went through Combined Arms as well and got connected to TMF. I mean, I'm sorry, the Mission Continues. The Mission Continues connected me to Travis Manion Foundation, and so on, and that's how the ball rolls. So, like I said, just get involved with other veteran organizations. Talk to the veteran community; they'll let you know as well. But there's so many different options. When you go in and create a profile, like if you need financial assistance, there's a list of different ones that pop up. If you don't like this particular one, there's 5 or 6 other ones you could choose from right then and there, and get connected with them as well. But once again, they're going to do their due diligence. We did our due diligence to make sure that we have the best in class organizations to make sure that they'll help you in a manner that is acceptable not only for the client, but for the or other organizations as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot out there. Get connected.
Sure.
And what I like to also mention, because the nonprofit I was at before was with Combined Arms, is everyone that's there is also pretty passionate about making sure that if I don't feel that need, I'll refer you to somebody else.
Right.
Because you're not my veteran. I can't do everything from you.
You're right. And that's what I love about them, because it's like everybody that I come in contact with there, just love to serve and love to get back to the veteran. You got a lot of veterans that's in the office, and but they have the heart of service to really give back to these veterans and make sure that's what the collaboration is all about. It's not just your mine. No, go out there. If they don't have some other the systems that they provide, they can refer you to somebody else, and that's the beauty of Combined Arms and the way the system is set up.
What's next for you? I know you got something in man, I want to do this. It's
Yeah, of course. And like I got a lot of stuff on my list to leave that I want to do, man. Yeah. Once again, but of course the nonprofit is called Custom Made Project, or that we're
Cool.
currently putting together right now, and where we helping once again working with the youth, teaching them about character, personal development, financial literacy, but taking them out camp, getting them out their comfort zone and challenging them to be their best selves. And so also we once again looking at doing a podcast as well, getting out there. And
Yeah.
I got one with one of the guys that I mentor. It's called Neff and Unk.
Say,
And so
say it again.
Neff and Unk.
Okay.
So
How can they find you?
we're working on it.
Yeah.
All
These
right,
are
all right.
things. So it'll be pushed
Let's
out.
fix that.
Yeah. Hey, that's why I came to the right spot.
I'ma
I told
help
him
you.
about it. So we're gonna do that as well. But me and my wife, we always once again, laughter is one of the best medicines. So y'all could go to our TikTok as well.
Oh,
My wife's
cool.
the honeymooners.
Yeah.
So we just go out there with me and my wife. Me and my wife been together since we was 15 years old, high school sweethearts, man. And so so we better come up on 18 years of marriage right now.
And you said that's the honeymooners?
The honeymooners with a Z.
With a Z?
Yeah.
Okay, honeymooners. I'm gonna look them up right now.
And so man, we just go out there. We just love to make people laugh and just showing the beauty of marriage as well. And I think that helps keep us close together too, just by laughing and bringing bring us closer. Because I love to laugh. Like I said, that's one of my top strengths is humor.
Best medicine.
Yeah, it is. It got me through a lot just by laughing a lot of stuff off.
It's funny because us as veterans, man, we laugh at the most inappropriate shit, and people don't understand
That's
that.
so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just me. It's not just
nah. Just
No. We're like,
you
we
gotta
do got some dark humor.
Yeah, man. And so that's what we do. We laugh, but we also wrap it around like serious standpoints or whatever. That's what me and my colleague, Uncle Neff, that's what we're gonna be doing, talking about serious issues, but talk about our personal issues. And maybe we'll laugh, maybe we'll cry, but either we open ourselves up and exposing ourselves to what it is and how he experienced it and how I experienced. And the same thing with my wife. We talk about the different levels of love, what that looks like and how that changes over time within your marriage. And talk about those different things. So stay tuned to that. We got a lot of stuff rolling out.
Yeah, I want to hit on that just a little bit because I think they say 50% of marriages end, and then for us, for combat veterans, like really the divorce rates skyrocket afterwards, after the military. That first year is the most dangerous year. I don't know, and combat veterans, especially after they leave the service, that rate increases to 80%. So what have you found, or what kind of secrets can you share with us on like this longevity that you've had with your wife?
Oh man, I think with that, man, it was just
speaking to that combat veteran.
Yeah, to that combat veteran, we can't, the same model that I use in the military, I use towards my marriage. I would never accept defeat. I would never quit. I would never leave a fallen comrade. My wife is my comrade more than anybody else. And so I use the military outline for every aspect of my life. And so even though when things get hard, it's easy to quit, right? And so I always tell them like, babe, I can't do this. We gonna find a way. And so once again, we go find somebody to have counselor. Me and my wife, we moved out here. We ain't have nobody, so we was forced to depend on each other. But at the same time, she showed me what love is by being patient with me and try to understand what I'm going through. Even though I never told my wife all my stories that I had overseas. I'm not gonna do her. I'm not gonna worry her like that, But at the same time, I had to, reevaluate myself and really take that into consideration on how I'm treating my wife or how I choose to talk to my wife or not take my anger on it. And sometimes it is a little foggy. I'm not perfect when it comes to that, but counseling helped me to define who I was and how I need to, handle the situation. And then our communication is key. If I'm sitting in the dark and in silence and she don't understand why, she can't help me. And your wife, she wants to help. And so, but for me, I was like, I had to, be vulnerable enough to tell her my truth and just telling her how I feel about certain things, how we choose to move forward, and how I'm changing, I'm evolving. And some, in those areas, I have to be vulnerable. And if I can't do that with her, who can I do that with? So it's talking about love and learning her love language and my love language, right? I don't like talking. Stop it. You ask me a lot of questions, but give me a minute to breathe. Like I used to, when she's talking, I used to walk away. and she understand. Okay, you need a minute. And it's no disrespect. I just need a
Yeah.
minute real quick. I'm coming back. I'm not leaving. I just
Yeah.
need a place. I need to go. Let me go shoot ball. Or let me go lift weights real quick. She had that understanding. So no, I'm not walking away from an argument, but let's come back to a place where we could come and really hear each other and not just, not just speaking to one another, speaking at one another. And so we had to trial and error, of course, but we had to learn that about each other and knowing how to communicate and trust where each other's at, and just loving each other through that. And love is patient, love is kind, and all those different things. And so we just had to express that in the way we communicate and the way we interact with one another. And of course, humor, of course. And we act those things out and really have a place where I take my wife out on our thing is the movies. So we go to the movies, we eat, and we come back home and we sit in the car for about another hour or two, just talking, and then we just talked about what we just been through
Yeah.
like 2 weeks ago and why this bothered her or whatever. And I'm taking that to heart. She's not being disrespectful or not trying to jab at me, but she just really want me to hear her heart. I think that's what we need to hear, when we come to try to communicate with each other and really have a good, solid foundation when it comes to that. So understanding that and loving her through that. And she loved me enough to know what dealing with. Like, yo, she called Win Warrior Project for me. You need help.
Wow.
You can't do this by yourself. I can't do this. We need guidance with that. And so once you come to that conclusion and everything and get seeking the help you need, whether it be a close advisor, family friend, I go to my grandmother and my mom. Those are two I go to. Like, mom,
I'm sure she will too.
how you do this marriage thing?
Yeah.
Like, is this, is it just me? And realize, sometimes we talk to somebody when it comes to kids or marriage, sometimes they're going through the same thing or been there.
Yeah.
So, but once again, that's just all about communicating, opening up, and being vulnerable enough to say, okay, I need help with this situation. Just like you said, within yourself, if you need some help, go to somebody you could go and talk to about that as well.
Cool.
Man.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I really do want to take the time and recognize you. Like I said at the beginning, I see you out there shining, man,
Thank
and
you,
I
man.
love it, man. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. If you guys are looking to get connected, tell us how we can stay connected to you. Besides, you said TikTok, the Honeymooners with the Z.
Yes.
What's another way we can follow
Instagram
you?
as well, Facebook, Honeymoons if you just want to get a good laugh. But if you're a veteran out there, please look up www.combinedarms.us if you want to get connected to the different resources that we have available for you and your family. And yeah.
Well,
like
I
said,
mean, you and I spoke, and I'm going to put it out there into the universe. If you're interested in having a speaker, Earl is definitely somebody that would
yes.
come around and share that story. I think, I think for those, I was captivated for like 10 minutes right there, man. You know what I mean? I was just feeling the goosebumps. Like,
Yeah,
man, dude, like,
So-
yeah, say your name, man. Say my
Say
name,
it.
bro. But yeah, I really want to recognize you for all the work you've done. It's pretty awesome,
Thank
bro.
you. I
to
appreciate it.
Keep doing that. And but my last question for you. Clearly, we know what Charlie Mike means, but what does Charlie Mike mean to you?
Charlie Mike. Oh man. I think going back to the saying your name standpoint, and just once again knowing who you are and everything. So with that being said, just being confident in who you are, you know, I love this component because it's just to see y'all come together as well, Charlie Mike and everything that y'all do here and just giving that platform and everything. So just always being a service to somebody else and everything. So I think that's one of the biggest things I like to take away from y'all, just being here and everything, and just seeing the impact with everything that y'all doing. Just I say, just continue to serve, continue to give back, and I guarantee it'll come back to you.
I appreciate that, and we appreciate you coming on the show, man. You dropped some knowledge on these boys. I hope they listen.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So thank you, and it's an honor to get to meet you. I know William speaks real highly of you, man. So I finally got meet you in person. So it's awesome.
So it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You got something?
No, I don't got nothing.
Hey, with that, you guys be sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, and y'all check out and reach out to Earl and take care. We're about to square him away right now as soon as we get offline.
Sir.
Hey, and with that, as always, Charlie Mike.